Acts 16:22 through 24. The crowd joined in the attack against Paul and Silas, and the magistrates ordered them to be stripped and beaten with rods. After they had been severely flogged, they were thrown into prison, and the jailer was commanded to guard them carefully. When he received these orders, he put them in the inner cell and fastened their feet in the stocks.
We started this short series last week called Good News, Glad Tidings, the idea of the good news we have. And we spent a lot of time, this image kept coming up of the angel, because we often think of the angel as the white fluffy type thing, but we looked at angels were warriors for God. They were messengers, they were servants, and they were powerful. And we talked about that power somewhat, the image that we have. And the other thing we talked about was at the end, we win. We mentioned Revelation, a lot of different places people go with that. But the bottom line is, in the end, God's people win. God wins. And by being with him, we win. Not so good news at times is that it's not always over. This is a newspaper, a picture of a newspaper from, I think it's August 16th. It's hard to read, but war ends as Japan quits. Okay? VJ Day, it's called. Okay? I think it was in mid-August was when this was. The actual signing of the treaty was, I believe, September 2nd of that year. But you know something? The battles weren't over. This guy here, okay, Hiro Onodi, okay, and I apologize to him if I didn't pronounce his name right, but I'm not real good with those. Until I believe it was 74, he was still fighting for Japan on the islands in the Pacific. See, the war was over. We won. But the battles continued at times. They had different times like that. No one fought as long as he did, but they didn't believe it was over. They thought it was misinformation, communication, whatever. And that's kind of the way it is with us. It's over. We win. But the battles still go on. Whether you are alive when Christ returns, or whether you are privileged to be with him ahead of that time, as long as we exist on this earth, there are going to be battles. As long as we live, as long as we breathe, we're going to have to struggle. And that's what I want to talk about today. The idea of the worship. The idea of the war that's going on. When Christ returns, it'll be over. But until then, we still struggle. We win, but we still struggle. Before I get into this, will you bow with me in prayer? Gracious, loving Father, I thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. I pray for the words that I speak. Father, I just pray they're pleasing to you. I pray that they are good for those that hear. But most of all, Father, just be with me. Guide me. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. The passage that we read, I really admire that. I strive for that, but fall short. Now, I don't strive to be beaten and put in prison. That's not the part of it. But the attitude, okay? The attitude that they have. I have maybe one imperfection in my life. Okay, maybe more than that. But the idea of, I have a hard time getting over things. I can carry a grudge, okay? I am very good at revenge. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I struggle with that. That is something that I deal with. I keep looking to this example in my life. That helps me. But I struggle with that. That example is this person. You don't know her. That was my mom. She passed away about a dozen years ago. Why I look to her, that is what I look to. I look to Christ, but from a physical, this world, I look to her. She was tremendous. My dad, who wasn't a horrible person, but he probably wouldn't get any Father of the Year awards. I would go weeks without seeing him sober at times. And we know of at least 2 affairs he had. Okay? I mention that not to soil my dad's name or anything, but to talk about my mom. The lady that the second one was with, that we know of, lived in the town. My mom forgave my dad. My mom forgave her. When my mom died about a dozen years ago, this lady that had had an affair with my father was so close to my mom, she put on the meal following the service for my mom. My mom had totally forgiven her. She did not hold a grudge. She did not seek revenge. I strive to be like her, but we struggle. And that's what I'm talking about today, the battles that each one of us have. You may not deal with that at all. You may deal with something else. But we have these battles that we deal with. Paul and Silas are in prison. They are wrongly accused. I believe it's verse 35 down the way. It says that they were let out the next morning and said, hey, everything's fine. Okay. They're wrongly accused. What are they doing while they're sitting in here in prison? Think about it. They were arrested. They were beaten. The flogged, most descriptions you can get says their shirts were taken off or their cloaks, and they were beaten with a rod. Then just to add insult to injury, they're put in stocks in the inner part of the prison. Nowadays, we would call that torture. That's what they went through. My nature, my revenge would, that's why this passage is so huge to me. And it's what are they doing next? About midnight, Paul and Silas are praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. That just blows me away. I would be mad. I would be upset. God, I am trying to serve you. We're trying to spread, and look what's happening to me. But they're not. They're worshiping God. See, we're going to have battles as we go forward. We're going to have struggles. The idea is we need to worship God as we go forward. Those struggles, yeah, Jesus says they're going to be there. Matthew 5, 11, 12 says, blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad. That's always got to be. Rejoice and be, that's a hard one for me. Rejoice and be glad because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. But that rejoice and be glad is hard, but look what's next. Because great is your reward in heaven. See, we win. We got to have that mindset. We got to have that mindset to get past whatever battles we're dealing with. We need to deal with them. They're going to be there. But we need to have that mind that goes past that. Jesus also tells them when he sent them out, he said, be on your guard. You will be handed over to the local consuls and be flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you will be brought before governors and kings as witnesses to them and to the Gentiles. But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. Yay, glad tidings. We're going to be arrested. Yay. I'm going to get beaten. Yay. I'm going to get falsely accused. Yay. No, that's not a yay. But that's what he says. That's an attitude we should have. You're going to get punched in the face. Are you excited? No. You're going to be talked about at your work, and people are going to say things about you that are a lie. Are you going to rejoice? It's hard. Maybe you're going to get fired. Maybe people are going to avoid you. Yay! No. It's hard. We want that revenge. We want to deal with, it's just hard. And maybe you don't deal with that as much as I do. But we all deal with things. We have these battles of how we're supposed to live, how God calls us to live, and how hard it is at times to live that way because of the battles that we deal with. See, ideally, yes, we know that. But one of the things I learned really quick in my meteorology classes is ideal is something in a textbook. Real is something out in life. Okay? Let me put something up here for you. This is my favorite set of letters. PV equals nRT, okay? Pressure times volume equals the number of moles times the ideal gas constant times the temperature. Oh, but life revolves around that. Okay, maybe not for you. But that's That's the ideal gas law, okay? And it says, the ideal gas law, also called the general gas equation, is the equation of state of a hypothetical ideal gas. It is a good approximation of the behavior of many gases under many conditions, although it has several limitations. And it goes on to say who it was discovered by. Why I throw this up, other than, I take every chance I can to talk meteorology here, is two words in here. All right? Hypothetical. Okay? This is the ideal gas law. It says equation of state of a hypothetical ideal gas. All right? The other word there is approximation of the behavior of many. In other words, my equations in the book are ideal. And you work them out ideal. When it gets into life, it's less than ideal. Fortunately, math came easy for me because the atmosphere is considered a fluid with a compressible fluid with one going to infinity when you go into space and the other one is a terrain that's continually moving. And you have to put all these equations because the ideal does not work. Ideally, when we come to Christ, we rejoice and everything is fine. Reality is, it's hard at times. It's difficult to be what God calls us to be, to live, because we're human. Jesus understood that. I think that's one of the biggest things that sticks with me about. He came and he lived, and he understands what we deal with. Passage here that we read earlier. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and all that. That's ideal. Here's Randy's translation. Okay? Do your best to endure it with good attitude and know others are dealing with things also. Grin and bear it, because in the end, though it is hard now, we win. That's Randy's interpretation of that passage. It's hard. Keep in mind, we win. One of the reasons the Lord's Supper that we do it every week is because it's a reminder of what Christ did for us and what lies ahead for us. Because of that, we can worship. In the Hebrew, it literally means to bow down. In the Greek, it means to crouch or to pay homage to. See, we worship God, yes, in this way, but more so than in here. This is one little aspect of it. We worship God out there as we go through this world, when we pay homage to God by the way we respond to the things that we deal with. And we're going to fail at times. That's okay. It's called grace. And that grace should help us the next time that we deal with it. Is it hard? Yes. But that's why we have each other. Okay? I'm going to go back to another passage here that we read. About midnight, Paul and Barnabas were praying and singing hymns to God. In other words, they were worshiping. But what I want to focus on here is one word. And. Okay? Paul and Silas. Good news, you're not alone. Yes, we know in the spiritual realm, God's Spirit resides in us. It helps us with our struggles. It's there. We know that. But also, we have each other. Okay? The good news, you have your brothers and sisters. Kind of bad news, your brothers and sisters aren't perfect. But we have each other. And we need to realize that. I want to do something a little different here. Throw some pictures, okay? Glad tidings. When you have struggles, man, your brothers are ready to pounce out of their chair and help you. They're ready to go. You see the action, they're ready to go, all right? Beth, she had the stroke. She's going to recover. She's there to help you chop through anything that you've got to deal with. She's there for you. Those snowy days, it's a reminder right there, you can't build a snowman without snowy days. She'll encourage you with that, all right? Doris isn't here this morning, a few of our members that unfortunately have COVID, but she is there to let you know the soup is it a good temperature to eat, to make sure you don't scald yourself. Ian, he's there to show you how to rock a pair of sunglasses on your head, okay? You need to know that as you go through life. Randy Duncan, you know, every now and then you got to eat chili and you don't have utensils. He's there to help you know how to eat that chili. Now, as I go through this, some of you are wondering, oh, great, is my picture going to show up there? What's he going to say about me? Some of you are saved, some of you are not. All right. You want to know how to look sharp in a pair of jeans? Steve will show you how. Okay. You want to know how to sneak some dessert when you don't know how to? Kelly will let you know how to go to the table and get that. Got those deep theological questions. Sheila will help you ponder them. Deep in thought. Need to make a list of things that you need to do or you want to go? Call on Karen. She'll help you. You know that ice cream you shouldn't eat? Ed will gladly eat it for you. He'll help you through that. He'll take those calories on for you. Lou, he's there for whatever you need unless you get in his hammock. And then he may come for you. Me, I'm there to help you ward off evil. Oh, no, sorry, I shouldn't say that. We'll go on from there. The thing is, we have each other. It's okay to struggle. And it's okay to go through difficulties. It's okay to fail. But what I want you to realize is we have each other for when we struggle, for when we go through things. Are we perfect? No. Am I going to let you down sometime? Probably. But that's okay. That is reality. That is who we are. We're in this together. See, when we go through life, the good news, the glad tidings is we win. Emphasis on we. That's the good news. You're not alone. Yes, we know that Christ is there for us, that God is there, the angels are there, but we have each other. And we need to rely on each other. Part of what we need to do is go back to the golden rule. The non-godly golden rule, have you guys heard this one? That I remember growing up, is do unto others as you want and then split. Okay, that's not the godly one. But it's do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And I've said this before. What does that mean? It means, how would you like them to treat you? Think about who they are. In the past, I don't know if I've mentioned here, but I've said that Holly helped me realize this because I like football. Okay, trying to like it less, but I like football. And I thought heaven was a continuous football game. Holly informed me that that is hell. Okay? And I realized she sees things differently than I do. See, that's the thing, is understanding each other, taking the time to get to know each other, know how to encourage that person. Because let me ask you this, if you feel comfortable about a person, are you going to be more likely to ask them to pray for you and for help than if you don't? Do people feel comfortable around you? Do people feel they can approach you? Or do people feel, they're going to say this? How do people feel about you? See, that's the we. We need to look to each other. We need to see how we can be there for each other. That's the good news. It goes beyond heaven and comes down to earth, that we have each other. I encourage you this week to see how you can encourage your brothers and sisters. Think about it. And then do it. Give them a call, send them a text. Really go way out there and drop a note in the mail. How many times do you get those anymore? Let's see how we can encourage each other, because we're all in this together. And we need to be there for each other. It all comes back to a song we're going to sing in a second. Great are you, Lord. Even when life is tough, maybe you're not in shocks after being beaten and in jail, but even when life is tough, great are you, Lord. Think about that. If this congregation can be of help to you as we stand and sing in a second, let us know, because we're in this together. Let's stand, let's sing.
Holy Lord, most holy.